Hey everybody, welcome to Sexy Nerd Science, Season 5, Episode 16. I'm Drew, as always, with Josh. That was me not saying either of your names first. Go ahead and say hi, guys.
Hi, guys.
Hi,
You
guys.
also said Jay first, so I'm including that as Josh first.
I
There was
said Josh.
but there was a silent D at the beginning.
Yeah, it's like Django.
Ah, gotcha. Django.
Josh. Okay, so
Let's jump right into it.
we are gonna jump right into it. We haven't talked about
Doug
this.
gets so mad when I do Philip DeFranco stuff on the podcast.
The links are in the doobly doo. Is that trademark? Can we not say that?
So Philip DeFranco does have socks now that say "Let's jump right into it" because that's really.
I'm not talking about that.
Huge.
I'm talking about the links in the doobly doo thing.
I think that was a links in the doobly doo was Tobuscus. I thought.
I don't know.
Steven.
Either way, because we're talking about it, it's commentary. It's protected.
Fair enough.
I mean, we get that.
So we have
We're also huge fans.
at this point, I don't know, been Endgame for just over a month, 38 days, right, Dale?
Yep.
We talked about earlier. So Endgame watch. We're going to talk about the numbers real quick and then kind of do a
Should I do have some sexy news that we didn't add to this thing?
spoiler heavy. You can add it after this.
I know.
Some spoiler heavy talks real quick about it. We'll do maybe a bigger thing later. Maybe that could be our live stream later on this month or whatever. Endgame is currently at $2.713 billion for the gross profits worldwide.
We're not going to do an episode for it until they beat Avatar.
That's it. That's a good one.
It's a good countdown, guys.
So
make it happen.
So then that means they need 75 million more to beat Avatar, which Dale and I did the math. It's basically if they're trending 2.2 million a day, roughly. Some days are higher, some days are lower. On average, 2.2 million a day. It'll take them one more month to beat Avatar. However, based on the numbers, Avatar at day 38 was still in theaters for a total of like 4 more months after that.
I was like, more than that. Let's see.
What was
day
day
38? It was late January.
Okay.
So just over a month, obviously.
And they were in theaters till late August
Till late August.
with a re-release. So
8 months.
8 full months of Avatar being in theaters, and Avengers is going to do it. And when they do, we'll have our full spoiler episode. I think that was the best thought that's come from Josh in his lifetime.
In recent podcast history.
In his entire lifetime.
Ouch.
In his lifetime. So, but yeah, so 2.2 million a day for the next month, and they'll tank it. And then James Cameron can do a super cool Avatar themed your thank you or grovel. What was it? What was that thing? What would you call that? That little ad that he did.
When he was like, "Oh, you guys did an awesome job."
Titanic.
Yeah, sinking the Titanic.
Yeah.
But he was also, we'll see if he's still high and mighty after the, he no longer has the top spot.
He ain't gonna.
It's tough giving up
so
that.
Hold on, pause. They've done that, or he's done that for almost everybody that's gotten on the top 10, right? Or has it been trend for the other?
I think it's only. He hasn't done because nothing else has beaten Titanic yet.
I know, but I feel like that kind of that.
Well, not nothing else, but
that like dismantling, like recognition kind of thing has been happening for at least the last couple of years. So
75 million till they beat Avatar, and they're definitely on point after one more month. And a lot of theaters show like the secondary runs or the B runs, C runs. So I feel like it's going to beat it.
Yeah, it for sure will. So,
well, we need 75 million people to go to the dollar theater. Just saying.
So is it based on? It's based on, number of like full ticket sales, right? It's not based on dollar theater, or is dollar theater calculated into it?
I'm assuming it's calculated into it, but
I'm sure it's calculated into whoever I mean,
Well, how many days do you still have it up, Dale? Like the
Yeah.
number?
Yeah.
How many days was that one lone theater still showing Avatar? Was it like a whole month?
So there was a bunch. There was like 9, 4, 3, 2, 1. August 6th, 7th, and 8th, which is a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, was only one theater, and that made the most amount of money. Honestly, like,
Really?
yeah. I'm looking at this how it is, and let me see what this number is. Now this says on average, and so yeah, this is theaters an average amount they made. So most of the weekends, with they showed it was like $500 to $1,000, $1,500. This one made $2,500, $3,800, and almost $4,000.
Holy shit!
That last day was shown.
Wow. I think if I remember correctly, like, and this is a while now, but like I thought there was like some hype to it. Like they're like, hey, it is like ending. See it in these select theaters.
I get that, and so I can see like a few like in July. I would see that. Yeah, a few upticks like here and there, especially on the weekends. And this is definitely on a weekend. But even when it first came out, doesn't go over 4,000. I'm sorry, it does. There's a few times it goes over 4,000. Actually, a lot. So when it first came out, it's a lot. But then it dies down after, like, where we're at now. Dies down a lot.
Hmm.
For
Well,
the last
anyway,
day to be
so,
4,000, that's ridiculous.
Let's talk a little bit just about kind of what you were talking about.
Yeah, because I wanted to. We started this and I was like, man, there was something I found out about Endgame the other day that I didn't even think about.
Was it Easter egg wise, or
it was Easter egg and kind of spoilery. So that's why, I mean, spoiler alert if you haven't seen it after 30 days. Upon listening to this, just skip ahead to when we start talking about spelling bees, but which was also a spoiler for the podcast.
Spoiler alert, Josh.
Double spoiler alert.
All right, go ahead.
But so my thing is, so they go back in time and collect the Infinity Stones, and they go back. Captain America and everyone goes back to when Loki was being arrested with the Tesseract.
Mm-hmm.
I completely forgot that Loki just straight up gets away.
You forgot that happened.
That he got away, and like they never even mentioned So, does that now change Loki's So as weird as this sounds,
because he gets away in the original movie.
No, he doesn't. They arrest him. They take him to the Heimdall, and him end up going.
Yeah, they use the Tesseract to get back to Asgard.
He's in handcuffs when he goes back to Asgard. So he doesn't get taken away then. Like he doesn't get released from prison until the elf invasion.
Huh.
So so this is a thing where so this is a thing that, obviously the way that the time travel worked in Endgame, you could go back and kill your previous self and it not affect your present self. That was example, obviously, from Thanos and from Nebula as well. So, past Nebula got killed in the present time, and it had no effect on present time Nebula. As weird as that sounds. And then past Thanos came to present Thanos time, where present
he
Thanos
was already
was
dead.
Yeah, and then so I mean, it was one of those things where so it doesn't matter there, but it's just interesting that so
then at the end, why did they take the Infinity Stones back to where they had to go?
So that was my thing. I think if it's my understanding, is they replaced them prior to them taking them, so it resets that timeline. Is my understanding. So that at that point, then Loki doesn't actually get away in that timeline because they don't disturb them taking it before that disruption sets it back.
It's supposed to collapse the timelines down, from what I'm assuming.
Yeah,
but I think so. And this is obviously, we know there's a Loki spinoff coming out to TV with Tom Hiddleston being Loki. I would say so. I think that's probably where it's going to start off. So that time period for Loki, what he gets into over the course of however long it is until they fix the timeline again, or if there is a separate timeline that's now created where Loki's still alive, until obviously the timelines come back together again. Because the way that the Grandmaster described it is like they would fraction off until there's an event where they all come back together again, which would be the present timeline when it gets fixed.
That's similar to how Doctor Who does it. It's like little things like that doesn't really matter, but it eventually fix itself.
Yeah. So I mean, it would just
in
be
that sense, we don't have free will.
That's totally true. It's all predestined, and oh man, weird. Yeah, I just like when they're like, oh my god, Back to the Future is bullshit. It's like, yes,
Back to the Future is not bullshit. Back to the Future is the greatest time travel movie ever created.
Speaking of spelling bees, no, I can't do transitions.
I was wondering what the transition was there.
You should have said, speaking of
splitting things like timelines.
Yeah. Sure. Speaking of tie lines, so the 92nd annual Scripps National Spelling Bee was held this weekend.
I think it was last weekend. We should probably have checked that when it exactly happened.
Recently.
Friday. Yeah. Thursday night into early Friday. And that would have been...
When was this written?
31st.
31st. Okay.
So this past Friday, Thursday and Friday, Scripps National Spelling Bee ended in a historic 8-way tie.
92 years.
92 years of a spelling bee, a traditional spelling bee.
And I'm not sure if they've had ties before, but this was just a historic 8-way tie.
Yeah, it's eight ways. So, I mean, I don't know at the point where you get down to 2 if you tie it off, or Dale, are you doing that research for us? Thank you. Thanks.
Typically,
the winners receive $50,000, and instead of splitting that pot 8 ways, each recipient or each participant also each got $50,000 and the Scripps Cup. So
they made copies of it.
They basically copy pasted the cup that it is traditionally won, and this was all due to 20 rounds of no elimination. So if you're familiar with one of our favorite shows on the podcast, Letterkenny, they did do a spelling bee episode in which
stay hydrated
5.5 participants. I say that because technically there were 6 people, but
I don't remember how there was a half.
Well, so Jonesy and Riley were one participant. So
that's right. I forget that.
They counted as
hockey.
So just like in Letterkenny, basically it was single elimination. So that way, the joke is that it wouldn't go on forever, and so this is kind of a testament to how like on point that was in the last season of Letterkenny. This has just happened. A 20 round of no eliminations. So you get to a 50 or an 8-way tie.
I mean, they had it eliminations up until the 17th round, and then they went 17, 18, 19, 20 with no eliminations, and there's still 8 contestants left. So they were just like, F this. Because I think there's more than 8 contestants.
Well, no, I would assume. No, the way I guess you read the article, I did.
Yeah, it said after 17 rounds, then they decided, hey, over the next 3 rounds, if no one misses a word, then they'd.
So yeah, it sounds like they went 17 rounds with nobody being eliminated at the point where they had 8 people. So how many do they start with? Do we know?
I don't know. But based on the previous years, they've always had one winner.
562 contestants.
They've always had one winner, except for the past few years. In 2014, they had 2 winners. 15, they had 2 winners. 16, they had 2 winners. And then in 19, they had 8 winners.
Okay, so here's what I'm saying is at the point where they had 8 people left. They went 17 rounds with nobody being eliminated, and then at that point. They went, okay, in the next 3 rounds, if nobody gets eliminated, we're done. So they went 3 rounds. Still, there was 8 people. That's the way it reads to me.
Yeah. I just want to say, though, because I'm looking at this list of the past, 100 years of spelling bees.
92.
You know what I'm saying? And like these words that are like in the past like 10 years, no idea. Couldn't tell you what they are.
I know what iridocyclitis is.
Couldn't pronounce them. Okay. I go back to the only winner who won in Detroit. The word was initial. So I guess I can beat the person from Detroit, but that's pretty much it.
That's crazy. So yeah, pretty cool. One of those things where you don't really.
Did my iridocyclitis joke go over everyone's head?
No. Huh. I wasn't paying attention.
It was a Vine reference.
Yes, we all got it. Fuck TikTok. We get it.
It was a Vine reference, not TikTok.
Fuck TikTok.
Is that the guy who spells stuff the way it sounds or says stuff the way
I'm just a kid from a previous
Yeah, there was just a kid in one of the spelling bees who's like told to spell iridocyclitis, and like it turned into a Vine where like there's one with like Katy Perry, you know.
I don't know.
I kissed a girl and I liked it. The taste of her iridocyclitis.
That's funny.
Yeah, I thought it was hilarious.
Sorta.
I love
All right, so Josh,
ready to lose, Dale?
You got a
oh god dang it!
Literacy question for Dale.
Did Dale not know? Did Dale not know? So one of the things that I have found out is Detroit likes to consider themselves hockey town. And things haven't been going so hot for the hockey town. Dale, can you tell me what two cities are currently in the Stanley Cup playoffs as of recording this?
No, I cannot.
Take a guess.
Can Drew pinch it?
One of them is
I was like, if you
first time in like 25 years.
If you went to basketball, the NBA finals are going on right now.
I was gonna do basketball.
I could have gotten that one.
I honestly, I was looking between basketball.
But I didn't know it because we were at Benihana the other day, and the bartender was like, "What do you think of the game?" And I was like, "What game?"
All right, so we're gonna pinch hit for Dale today.
Hold on, between the Warriors and Toronto.
So I don't know if this is a well-known fact or a little-known fact about.
No, that's the basketball though, not hockey.
Oh, okay. I was like,
hold on. So I don't know if this is a well-known fact or a little-known fact from our audience about Drew, but I don't know shit about sports. Like, I'm not very good at sports. So I think in Nerdy News, we should drop in a sports question for Drew every week. And
this is just a podcast of questions from now on.
And I'm gonna win this one. This will be my first win. I'll start off on a good note.
Can I also say that we've had just give Dale maybe one more chance. We've had
I haven't had a chance yet.
I know. Well, I'm saying we've had a female sexy nerd of the month who's from one of the cities. That
wouldn't help me. I wouldn't even go down that path of thinking.
We had very few female sexy nerds of the month, I think, that.
Okay.
So actually, the only reason I know it is because this person posted about it on their Facebook, and I was like, "Oh, that's cool," and then I checked it.
Just think Mocky Mock. Right.
That's one of them, yeah.
If I have to guess, I would have guessed probably goddamn. Trying to think
typical Red Wings fan. When it's not the Wings, we don't care about it.
I'm gonna say the Oilers.
Okay.
And the Bruins.
Holy shit, Dale.
Did I get it right?
50%.
No.
I know the other one.
And then the clue I gave you was to the other team too that's playing.
I would say Avalanche if it wasn't
close.
Is what color is your mic, Puff?
Blue.
Yeah. What is a
do you know the hockey team that
has blue jackets?
Blues.
Is it Blue Jackets?
St. Louis Blues.
Nope. Wouldn't have got that. Nope. That's a negative for Dale.
That's a 50% though. I was really surprised. Like when you said Bruins, I was like, oh shit.
You said the Marky Mark thing. That's you guys keep giving me hints. I don't want the hints.
By the way, Alexa Hart is from St. Louis.
Did not know that either.
Okay.
Yeah.
We talked to her. We had her interview when she was in like a Walmart parking lot.
I'm sorry. You want me to remember? Not that I don't like her. I'm saying that you want to remember the one detail that where she was at when we talked about her 3 years.
Yeah, it was like season 1. I mean, yeah, it was 4 years ago.
Exactly.
Interview her in a Walmart parking lot.
She was in her car in a Walmart parking lot
when we called her.
When we called her on Zoom or whatever.
Oh.
And then we put her through the microphone with our phone.
Yeah,
because we have that technology.
We're going to switch up next week.
That's the way you do.
We're going to switch it up again?
Yeah.
You ask me a sexy question?
Yep, every 8.
All right, so we're going to jump into nerding news. We have Ocon Expo coming up in 26 days.
Does this make you want to come to the Expo? Does this make you want to come to the Expo?
So, I hate you.
I'm just a floating head back here.
At the Mid-America Center in Council Bluffs, Iowa, we're going to be in the Project Nerd Pavilion.
That's why I'm wearing my shirt, because of the NBA Finals.
That's awesome.
I'm just kidding. It's really comfortable and it fits me.
Dale, we're on to nerdy news.
Oh, okay.
The Project Nerd Pavilion, which is previously going to be dubbed, or the Bud Light Pavilion, which is now going to be dubbed the Project Nerd Pavilion. Tickets for that are $40 for a 3-day pass. Couple things we're going to do, Dale, if you want to go about talking about those.
Yeah, so I don't actually know what's known by the people, so this is kind of a little insight. So if you guys, definitely going to swing by the Ocon Expo, as formerly O-Comic-Con, we're going to be streaming pretty much everything we do. We're going to be streaming all the interviews we do on Project Nerd's Twitch account. So if you guys can't make it to the con or out of state or somewhere else, we'll post that obviously with our when we release stuff out on all our social media the weekend of, and so we'll be streaming all the celebrity interviews, all the cosplay interviews. Pretty much we'll be streaming the entire weekend consistently. We'll also possibly be posting a lot or streaming some of which we call the demo stage. We'll be doing some product review, possibly persons of interest, maybe a celebrity, maybe cosplay guests or podcasters. And we'll also be doing, we'll have some lockers for the convention, courtesy of our in-house sexy man himself, Drew.
What?
And so those are going to be for if you want to store stuff locally for, throughout the con for temporarily.
Yeah, the idea is, it's a little less of an issue at O-Comic-Con, but it's definitely
it's our diving board,
our jumping off point at this point. So the idea is you're pretty close to your cars now, but at other conventions we're looking at potentially being half a mile or half a convention center away from a vehicle or anywhere you can store anything. But you're making those purchases, you don't want to carry that stuff around all day.
You don't want to get damaged.
You don't want to get damaged. Sometimes if you're buying swords or anything like that, you're forced to take those out based on
policy of the convention,
or anything like that. So working with the convention to make sure that those are locked up safely and securely through pop-up lockers will basically get you guys to
Did you say pop-up lockers?
Pop-up lockers.
Good.
Yeah, right. So the idea is you guys get more time in the convention center and less time carting stuff back and forth to car, hotel, this, that, and the other. So make sure you guys stop by and check that out. And also the photo booth that the Project Nerd Pavilion will also have is free of charge or free to use as much as you'd like. Come by, snap a photo, and you guys
strike a pose.
Strike a pose. Vogue for us. Dale,
strike a pose.
Vogue.
I don't know what that means.
It's
Is this called Vogue?
It's
from the music video.
Music video?
Stop by and do that, and potentially see yourself on the website, Facebook page, Ocon's Instagram, or their live feed. It'll be pretty cool. And buy tickets as soon as possible from our friend Sabrina.
Yes, please.
Sabrina sells tickets?
So,
Well,
she has an affiliate link.
She has affiliate link.
Oh, I didn't know that.
We said it last week.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about it. I don't know why I'm saying that. I didn't know about that. I totally did.
Week.
But that was totally something that I've always wanted to do for like other conventions, is have an affiliate link for us so we can be like, hey, here's why we're valuable to you.
Yeah, but we don't need that because we get it.
I forgot what I was going to talk about. Oh, I guess we could talk about a nerdy news too.
Okay, why don't you do that now before we get into this?
Before we get into that one. So the Dark Crystal teaser trailer came out on Netflix. And it was actually really good.
I'm so excited.
It prompted me to go rewatch the Dark Crystal.
And get that weird, awkward.
And then, for those of you guys that don't follow me on Facebook, one of my first crushes on any.
Was this part of your come to Jesus household meeting?
No, not at all. But one of my first crushes on Kira.
What do you mean come to Jesus household meeting?
Oh man, I've got some stuff to tell you about my parents.
That's for after the podcast, though.
Praise be Jesus.
Praise him. I need you to praise him. Find me.
All right.
Dark Crystal trailer, and then I used to have a crush on Kira, the puppet from the original Dark.
It's funny because
Crystal.
my sister's dog's name is Kira, and
As
she's
in
a puppy.
Puppy. Oh yeah.
So that was really awkward for me.
I just remember because the girls had fairy wings and they were cool, and I don't know why, but there was just something about that soft voice, like literally, like watching it.
Was it ASMR before it was ASMR?
I don't know. Like watching it now, I was just like, I don't know why I liked this, but like when I was a little kid, like I was infatuated. Like also like Tinkerbell from Hook too. Like I knew she was a fairy, but
first of all, she didn't look.
Oh my God! You know what it is? She almost looks like a scene girl.
That's true.
What's a scene girl?
Exactly.
No, you can't say exactly. I'm supposed to understand.
I'm going to send you a picture, and I need you to.
I'm just going to type it in.
Kira, Dark Crystal.
So I'm going to type in scene girl. What's a scene girl?
I mean, you could do that too.
We'll do both of them.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. I'm excited for that. Next bit here, Dale. Are you interested in this at all? I mean, is this something that you're excited about?
Not Scene Girls.
Not Scene Girls or.
I'm like, no, I don't know what they are.
No, the next item on.
Yeah, I think it's interesting, but maybe not the game itself, which I would play because I did play the original. If it's not the original / remastered, Call of Duty Modern Warfare is now going to be cross-platform.
That's the coolest news I've heard in a long time.
Oh yeah,
we've had PC to Xbox. That's kind of a given because Microsoft, they match. But having the cross-platform ability from PC to Xbox or PS4 or PS4 to Xbox and PS4 to PC is something that we've been asking for as gamers for a long time. It is a money. I think that the gaming industry is a big money grab, specifically for a couple of reasons. Cross-platform, or not cross-platform, but platform exclusive. So Xbox exclusive, PlayStation exclusive, PC exclusive. Really sucks to have to either buy that twice if you want to play with specific people. But this is it's hard because I think that I would rather spend microtransactions on cross-platform games than I would on games I have to buy for multiple platforms.
I agree. There's a lot of people I know that play Overwatch on a Xbox, and I can't play with them because it's not cross-platform in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
And I have tons of hours on a PC of Overwatch, and to be able to play with them would be phenomenal. But I'm not, and here's the biggest thing. I, and most people I know, most people I would say, would not buy every console just to play every single game.
Well,
if you have a console, one console, I'm not buying the second one.
But there are it's probably 45% I would say of people are buying multiple consoles and multiple games for those consoles
multiple times.
Can't do that.
And I mean, And sometimes like we had 2 Xboxes, so we had 2 copies of Overwatch for Xbox alone. So
You're the problem, Drew.
It's not the problem. I mean, that's what I think people were forced to do for a long time. Like,
that's the money grab part of it, is because the cross-platform was
last week's podcast. I never got to play God of War after the original God of War because I didn't have a PlayStation ever, and it was a PlayStation exclusive. And I mean, the only reason why I would still to this day buy a PlayStation, in all honesty, is God of War at this point in time.
The only reason I bought a PlayStation 3 was God of War 3. The only reason I bought a PlayStation 4 was God of War 4.
I remember when you bought God of War 3.
Yep.
It was in your apartment.
It was.
Why is that important to bring up? I remember when you wiped your ass at one time.
It's me being like, oh, I do remember, like, that's literally the only thing we ever used the PlayStation for.
Yeah. And it was the only thing you could play Blu-rays on, but I didn't own any Blu-rays.
Yeah.
So I had
or a 4K or HD TV at the time.
So I didn't have literally any reason to buy a PlayStation except for that game, and I did.
You did get an HD TV eventually. I remember that.
I think I did, but that was like after.
Remember when Blu-ray was first coming out? They had like the race between Blu-ray and HD DVD.
DVD, yep, and then porn back Blu-ray, and that helped.
Oh, was it porn the reason that did it?
Yeah, it was the same thing for VHS too, and Betamax.
Oh, okay. My question to you is, why don't we have Blu-ray TVs? Why are they HD TVs?
Because Blu-ray is
the brand.
Yeah,
but HD talks about you have high definition TVs, now you have 4K TVs. 4K's
was HD DVD a brand?
HD DVD was a brand.
Yeah,
it was. I mean, it was basically,
and it had a different code type or reader type too as well. I think it needed a different laser head reader for HD DVDs than what the Blu-ray lasers were.
Yep.
So it was coded on the disc differently, and then
you had to buy a separate.
It was backwards.
Was that it spun the other way?
Yep.
That happens a lot. Yeah, that's like how pirates for games do it too.
So for the Xbox 360, you actually had to buy an HD DVD reader for those red cased HD games or HD movies, and I had 4 of those, but no reader. So I was just buying the worst shit ever all the time. Jump into this next bit. So we got to get going or get moving. Kind of stay on track here. E3. Who's excited for E3?
I don't know. It's a lot of console games, and it's not a lot of PC stuff.
But here's the thing, Dale.
Look like E3.
The previous, a little bit, sort of. The previous news makes this exciting for me.
But see, it's only this game and like Rocket Car and a few others.
But because it's only this game.
Did you say Rocket Car?
Rocket Jump, Rocket League, whatever.
Oh my goodness.
Rocket League's been doing it PC for a while. I don't know. Have they been doing it PlayStation to Xbox? I haven't played
Rocket League in years. So
as I say, it just opens up this news. So I mean.
Once one company does it and makes billions for it, every other company is going to be like, "Oh shit, we need to jump on this." Like,
because the thing is it's not going to be the best thing for the brand for everybody, but it's going to be great because people are going to play it more. They're going to be talking about the game more. So those companies are going to jump on the cross-platform ability of it, not for the money grab, but for the exposure.
Well, and I don't think it's not going to be the best thing for Sony or Microsoft.
No,
but it is going to be great news for the game developers that are like, hey, we only need to develop one copy of this game essentially to play on all these platforms, and then it's going to force like hardware developers to make hardware that I'm assuming is more PC-like, modular, something that could be updated.
But the other thing is this is only happening because Xbox and PlayStation are willing to. So I mean, it's not. Yeah, it is in a sense partly their deal, but they're realizing.
Send your mic, Drew.
I'm sorry. Oh,
yeah,
it fell down. So the idea is they are.
Oh man, sorry, my tooth
bite your cheek.
No, I've got a hole in my tooth, and
he's got to get his tooth first pulled.
Probably all that Coke Zero.
Probably.
There's no sugar to rot your teeth with Coke Zero.
That's not true at all.
It is true.
So a couple things about E3. It'll be Tuesday, June 11th through Thursday, June 13th. The 25th anniversary of E3.
It's going to be in LA.
It says Sony is skipping E3 for the first time ever. Is that accurate?
Do it last
I feel like
year?
they did it last year.
So they had a presence there. They like same thing with like EA this year. EA, because they have their own keynote event later, they're not going to do like a press conference is what they're calling it. So they're going to be there, but they're not going to do a press conference. Where Sony's not going to be there at all. They're not going to have
a presence at all.
That's what the internet tells me.
Wow,
the internet's usually right.
So Sony's not going to be there for the first time ever, apparently. This is the next news that I'm excited for. Microsoft Xbox rumored to announce release of a new console. I'm guessing it probably won't happen. I think we're going to see a lot of their next gen games like Halo Infinite, like you mentioned, and Gears 5. I mean, Gears 5 has already been announced for the most part, but and then the Project X cloud streaming service is pretty cool. But
I'm calling that Nintendo's going to have an updated dock.
Oh, Nintendo's supposed to have an updated Switch and an updated dock setup, and then a so what they're what they're toting is it's going to be a all-in-one. They're going to have a updated Switch, which is the modular thing with the controllers. It's going to be updated all based in the same package, and then they are going to have a lower tier, which is all in one. You can still use the Wii or the Switch Joy-Cons for like TV play, but you're not going to have removable Joy-Cons on the side. It will be one handheld, kind of like the Wii U controller, but that'll be all in one dock. So you don't have the removable controllers. So when it's on the TV, you have it, and then you don't need them.
I was thinking like kind of like how the Nintendo 64 expansion pack worked to double the RAM on the Nintendo 64.
Well, so I think that they're going to just do that as an internal upgrade for the souped up version or the upgraded version. It's going to be packaged that way.
Oh,
so
yeah. I thought they were just going to sell a new dock, so you can take your old Switch, put it in there, and then you're going to get 4K upscaling. You're going to get
that's not something I thought about. I was just thinking of just the actual Switch itself.
I just think it would be the easiest thing and best thing for them to do right now, because their big titles are going to be, there's a new Zelda game pretty much coming out every year from now for the next 5 years.
Yeah.
There's, Pokemon new one coming out on the Switch for the first time like this. I mean, that's going to be a big deal. Yeah. So that's going to keep them going for another 5 years. I don't think they would put an Animal Crossing is being developed for the current Switch too.
Yeah.
It's interesting to see if they were to like launch a new Switch without everybody being able to take advantage of the new stuff.
Well, and so so they're going to have the people who don't have the stuff that's going to have basically all of that, the full inclusive package. And then you're going to have the option for the upgrades for, like you said, probably the new dock with the upscaling and everything like that. That's the most sane thing for them to do.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
And it's a great way to make money. I think I'm really hoping that that's something that Nintendo does, because I think one of the things that I really not liked about the dock is literally it's just a power cradle. Like that's all it is. It's a power cradle and an HDMI output. Like that's all you get with the dock right now.
And I mean, I've got some other things. Like I've got a cool light up base, and it powers my controllers.
Yeah, but I mean,
I never understood that with the Switch. Your controllers get charged through the Switch, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So you hook it in, and then you can play with it
with like separate controllers.
It's a separate controller.
You can use separate controllers.
Yeah.
But the ones that clip in, you can take those out, and they're 100% charged controllers.
Yeah.
Or fairly charged controllers.
Well, they should be constantly being charged by the Switch. You can't opt out of having those charged while they're connected.
Is what has been
that's not my question. My question is, could you get a second set while they're charging?
Yes. Okay. You can leave those attached, which is what I was saying is they're going to have a lower tier model, which has all the good visual upgrades to it, but the Joy-Cons is all encompassed, so you can't remove the controllers on the sides. So while you're playing out and about, it's just one unit. That is based on them. Sometimes some people said that the flex on it was bad when they played it. So, I mean, that's a different option that they're affording people who don't want to have that issue.
Yeah.
But some people, it's never been an issue for me.
Yeah, and the fact that if your controllers are low when you hook them up to the Nintendo and then pull them off to play, it'll drain your battery on your Switch faster because it has to charge the controllers first.
No matter what, it always drains your battery faster to have the controllers hooked up.
Yeah.
Because it's constantly powering those controllers. So if you have 100% controllers and 100% Switch, then immediately when you pull it, it's the controllers deplete and the battery from the Switch immediately replenishes it. So it drastically reduces your portable gaming time. So that's why I always carried the controller with me, like the controller adapter. So that way I wouldn't have to, because I could get 5 hours of play typically out of that without them attached, but I could only get like maybe 2 at minimum. And the controllers would still work. That's the junkiest part about it, is the controllers would still be 85-90% by the time the Switch died. So
yeah.
But hopefully that's even an option that they can turn off. You can turn off is,
charge the controllers.
Well, no, like mobile gaming, like mobile charging. So, turn that off when I'm in mobile, or not mobile, but
or an inductive charging plate for the Switch.
Well, I mean, that's different. That doesn't do anything for while you're playing it, like handheld.
Yeah, but I mean,
unless you got a magnet, like the watch controller.
I just meant that, right now there's a brand of phone that can use their inductive charging plate to charge anything with the Qi charger in it.
That's true.
And the next generations of phones will probably continue that, even like off-brand wise. So
a couple other things about E3. We kind of got off on a Nintendo tangent. So Google's presence will be revolve around the Stadia game streaming. And then a couple other games Nintendo is going to be doing is Luigi's Mansion 3, the Link's Awakening remake, which I'm super excited for. Super Mario Maker 2 is already out, but they're kind of going to probably display that high because it's a new game for them. And then that's pretty much it. I mean, yeah. Cool. I'm really excited. So
E3 Sports.
That's EA.
I know, I'm just kidding.
Ding.
Right. Demonetized. Thanks, Josh.
So Nerd Battle this week between Josh and Dale was magicians or magic users. And Josh gave me his answer first. Dale waited till last minute, but
I honestly thought Dale said he's like, oh, I know who I'm picking, right? Like,
I knew who I was picking. I still picked the same person. I just didn't message him. I forgot to message him. It's been a crazy week.
However, Dale picked a beloved Marvel hero, Dr. Fate.
DC.
I don't know why I said Marvel. I am so dumb.
A marvelous DC character.
Beloved DC hero, Dr. Fate. I feel so dumb.
Yeah, you're good.
So, Dale, you want to give me a little bit about Dr. Fate and why
I did research.
Good, because I did research.
Okay, so Dr. Fate, he has all the abilities of the god Nabu, the wise. Nabu is an ancient Mesopotamian patron god of literacy, rational arts, scribes, and wisdom. He was worshipped by the Babylonians and Azarans. His powers include spellcasting, flight, superhuman strength, invulnerability, telekinesis, telepathy, pyrotelekinesis, lightning manipulation. There's a weakness he has that I wanted to mention, so I'm all fair. He's unable to counteract spells that have already been cast and are in effect. He has difficulty with those. And Dr. Fate was also one of the co-founders of the Justice Society of America in 1940.
Ooh.
Yeah, so he had a little history behind him.
Ooh, I like history, though. My character's
Very historical.
very historical.
Josh picked. Go ahead, Josh.
Sauron from the Second Age.
So
This was Sauron in what's argued to be his pinnacle of power. So when most average people are introduced to Sauron, we're introduced to the necromancer Sauron, who technically doesn't have a physical body manifestation and is just like that big old eye on the thing. What I'm referencing is Sauron before the Battle of the Kings.
prior to the ring.
Prior to the ring, but then also with the creation of the ring, because I guess that was part of his reign to power. But arguably one of the most powerful magician sorcerers in Middle Earth, to the point where they were even gods. I mean, as far as Tolkien lore is considered, there were gods that feared Sauron's power. So I picked Sauron because he's a pretty badass sorcerer. And to argue this, in his prime, could have beat Gandalf the White.
So just gonna start by saying, because I had a lot of time to do extensive research on exactly that, whether or not Sauron could beat Gandalf the White, I put a lot of thought into why Josh's character has an upper hand. The biggest proponent of Gandalf the White, or I am one of the biggest proponents of Gandalf the White. Literally, anytime anybody says the Dumbledore or Gandalf argument, which I was hoping you guys there was a point in my mind where I was like,
one of us would be stupid enough to pick.
One of you guys would pick one or the other.
I almost picked Merlin. I will say this, and I almost picked Harry Potter Merlin as well.
Like the Merlin from Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Anyway, so anytime somebody brings up the Gandalf Dumbledore, I always try and school them as much as possible with a previously well thought out Reddit thread or Facebook thread from about 10 years ago, and I still have it on my phone saved. However, with Dr. Fate coming into it, puts a little wrench in it, because Dr. Fate is one of the strongest magic users in Marvel, or DC history. So, if you look at some of the Marvel DC comparisons, some of the things he's done, even trump Doctor Strange, and who are
probably the strongest magic user.
Arguably,
in Marvel.
Is the strongest magic user in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and but also kind of at that point brings it to kind of a really big head-to-head. The only thing that I think, because do you know of any weaknesses? Do we call elvish swords a weakness?
So and then that was so that was one of the things that I think is Sauron did have a weakness. He could be destroyed.
I just want to say that while I definitely like your way of thinking, he is a necromancer.
You're looking at Third Age. Third Age? You need to find Second Age Sauron.
I found Second Age.
Because the First Age, he was an angel.
Yep.
And then he became, a dark sorcerer, killed his master, who was a god.
Okay.
And then forged the rings. Or then had the elves forge the rings. So he's also a master manipulator, too. I think that's the thing where I would give Sauron his edge, is his presence is huge. His influence, his presence is bigger than just one person. He literally influenced the entire elves to make the rings of power. Did I say elves? That's correct. To forge the rings. This was something that, again, I think we're talking on the level of deity level power here, where I think Dr. Fate is, while he is a strong person who is very adept in magic. there's probably, you know, cogs and things going well before Dr. Fate even realizes his.
So here's something that most people don't know. Or most people who Dr. Fate is the name of a hero, but Dr. Fate is kind of the embodiment of Naboo, which is the god. In helmet form, when he puts it on, he doesn't have a vessel to communicate with people. So the helmet's put on by, I can't remember the guy's name, Kent, something Kent. So that person puts on the helmet, and then he becomes Dr. Fate, which is literally just Naboo, and he can pretty much do, you know, everything.
He's the conduit for, it's a human conduit. And that's where, so Necromancer.
It's Kent Nelson.
Yeah.
Kent Nelson, thank you.
Necromancer, Sauron would be, you know, like that's where he's weak too, when he is embodying physical form. Like, I mean, he's really hard to kill outside of, you know, even if you do kill his physical form, he's not dead.
So, based on, you know, what we've got, you know, I do feel like Dr. Fate's a very good character, and a pretty high-end magic user, but strictly because I feel like what Josh said about Sauron's presence and how strong it is, I think that's where we're going to be. What's going to be the tiebreaker, or not tiebreaker, but the what tips the scales there. You know, to be able to walk into an area and just kind of have a definite looming presence without even anybody being able to see him is something that I definitely feel reads in some of the Lord of the Rings lore. So for that reason,
Was this not a battle between the two?
I'm sorry?
Was this not a battle between the two?
No, I mean it is a battle between the two. But
So Dale, if you would have picked Naboo himself,
yeah,
I think we might have had Naboo winning. The only reason I'm doing that is because when I just Google Dr. Fate versus Sauron, that's actually already
I see that
in something here. And that was what one of the things was.
Really?
Is like, like one of the
this
things
is why
was
you guys need to get me this stuff beforehand.
His weakness was the fact that because when Kent is the body, he's not actually the strongest form of Dr. Fate that's been out there. The most powerful version is just Naboo himself.
So, all right. So, we're getting science news here. Just kind of.
We'll give that one to Josh then.
Yep.
What a loser.
Next week,
this is like I'm like Googling this. There's so many things.
Next week, we're going to do a. Let's do. Water.
Coming up on the spot.
I'm sorry?
Coming up with it on the spot.
Let's do like a water, a battle in water.
Aquatic, like underwater battle?
Not doesn't have to be underwater. It can be. It's not going to be based on underwater. It's basically open ocean. It can be underwater. It could be. I mean, the person could be like Aquaman or anything like that, or you can have Napoleon. You know, whatever. You know, the Dread Pirate Roberts.
Ooh, okay, okay. I get what you're picking up now.
I don't understand. I'm sorry. I don't know.
Just a water themed battle.
It's just a water themed battle.
Sounds good.
Like your character can be somebody who can breathe underwater, like Aquaman, or Captain Barbossa. You know, he could breathe underwater.
The ship
Barbossa? No.
Well, I thought that their ship is in the water.
I mean,
that was
like dead zombie Barbossa, maybe.
And that was David Jones.
David Jones,
that's what I'm thinking of.
Ooh, David Jones. That's
oh man, I'm excited now.
That's that.
I've got some good ones.
So next in Science News, Dale brought this to us. So why don't we breeze through that, and then we'll wrap it up with some science news.
Breeze through this. There's no breeze in space.
Okay. Joke.
That was.
I mean, that's a fact joke.
So we talked about this a little bit last week. NASA is putting together a coalition of nations to reach the moon by 2024. However, NASA has taken upon themselves to already preemptively
secure delivery companies,
like
Postmates,
contracts,
post moons.
Yeah, contracts with different companies to send up to the moon stuff they need to build. So pretty much, if it's like building supplies,
NASA's general contracting their own
2x4s in space.
Pretty much. And so they found 3 companies so far to send that stuff up. I didn't actually read the article 100%. We added it last second, so I don't know if it is SpaceX or any of the companies we normally talk about.
I bet it's like builder supply companies like
Menards.
I don't know if they're the one. NASA's going to be the one launching it up, or NASA's the one that's just contracting out. So, hey, SpaceX, let's just say SpaceX, I need you to have this module, this capsule. You build that to our specifications and then launch it up. We'll pay you. Or I don't know how that's worked, but I wanted to bring it to your attention. We'll look at that over the next few years, obviously. But it's going to be interesting to see. That's a way of thinking that is something we don't see a lot from big projects like this. That's I think we talked about it a little bit last week, where when you launch from the Earth's gravity, you have a large amount you need to do, a large initial force. Once you get into space, you can launch from space, let's say like the ISS, a lot easier than you would be able to from Earth. There are a lot more power. We don't need power in space. So what they could do is just launch a lot of stuff to the ISS or a second satellite, go back and forth, put all that stuff there, and then take that with them to the moon, or just keep launching to the moon.
Well, and that's kind of the reason why we wanted a moon base in the first place, was to be able to put all this shit on the moon.
Lasers.
And then from the moon, launch our
lasers.
Our rockets.
Lasers.
Interstellar if possible. Something that, our jumping off point would be the moon.
Lasers.
The Alan Parsons Project. I get it. I watched that on Netflix the other day, too.
What does Frau's yell?
What?
Dr. Frankenstein?
She yells. Anyway, so a couple of the companies, Orbit Beyond, Astrobotic, and Intuitive Machines are it looks like the 3 companies that are going to be participating in this like payload transfer deal.
So it says the companies will design, build, and operate the spacecraft, not NASA. They'll work speed and work at low cost, aiding to make decisions in the next few months. So they're doing everything.
Yeah, apparently it looks like a lot of these companies were also in a kind of a race to land
on the moon
a person on the moon anyways, and they just never succeeded. So now they're like, hey, we'll just...
Okay, predictions. First fast food restaurant in space. What do you think it's going to be?
I guarantee it's McDonald's.
I think McDonald's?
I guarantee. You cannot tell me that McDonald's doesn't have a thought process to put golden arches on the moon.
At least, I guarantee it's been talked about in a meeting.
Oh, I'm
or
sure.
Something to do with space. I guarantee. So
I'm trying to think. I feel like there's a company that's like, hey, we might not be as big as McDonald's is, but like we're willing to sacrifice it all to go. Like I would say, like Jack in the Box or something
that. Drew has the right way of thinking, or you both do. It has to be somebody with a lot of extra money. Where McDonald's has, I don't want to say a lot of extra money, but they've had it for a while. Where
they have got 10 of the Omaha area places already have been retrofitted with the self-serve kiosks. And done. That's 3
rockets right there.
That's 3 cash register employees' salaries gone straight to.
That's $15,000 easily.
Yeah, I'm just saying
that's a year.
You know how easy it is to franchise? Fine, let's do it. Sexy Nerd Science is going to franchise
A McDonald's.
the first McDonald's the moon McDonald's. First lunar Donald's.
I've actually looked into franchising at McDonald's before, and there's a lot more money than you'd think.
On the moon, though?
I mean, on Earth. So on the moon is probably even worse. Like, I can't do it on Earth, let alone
we could get the backing. Mark Cuban, hit us up.
We'll ask for a loan.
Hi, Sharks. We'd like to put a McDonald's on the moon. We're asking for a 10% investment.
For $5 billion.
So there was a Family Guy episode where they do like Frank Sinatra.
We've raised no funding for this whatsoever. We are pre-revenue.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so Frank Sinatra.
Oh yeah, so Frank Sinatra's like, yeah. So he's talking to Stewie and Brian. He's like, yeah,
is it Frank Sinatra Jr.? Is it
Frank
like
Sinatra Jr.? Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I started one of these things called a Kickstarter, and then I quit that. I realized it was dumb, and I'm an adult, and I went to the bank and got a loan.
That's fine.
Is that when they open up their restaurant?
Yeah,
the Italian restaurant.
Yeah, I remember that.
All right, so Dale, you got a blind science question for Josh here?
Yeah, but it's not a good one.
Good.
More of a history question.
Good.
I want you to tell me.
Win after last week.
What?
Did I need to win after last week?
Yep. So you know the Miss Curie.
Yes.
I want you to tell me as much information you have about her.
Is that Madame Curie?
I don't know. It could be. Let's ask Josh.
Marie Curie was her name.
Okay.
She did experiments with radium, which was a radioactive isotope. I believe she it was weird because so it's kind of warm to the touch. And she would actually there's like stories where you can go to her lab. I know this. So she worked in a lab, but I think the lab was just actually like part of like a section of her house. Like it wasn't actually like a big, well-funded lab, or even it might be a college institution, come to think about it. So she would touch the radium so much that her hands would actually become radioactive. And so if you look at certain hot spots in her lab, her doorknob on her door was radioactive. And then her desk drawer was also radioactive. It was one of the I remember really funny, not funny, but interesting facts about Marie Curie, that being one of them sticks out in my head.
So basically she's basically transferring radiation.
Yeah, so basically, I mean, she's touching it enough where her hands become radioactive, and then she touches other sources of things that also become radioactive, which in the time when this was going down, radioactive. So we discovered X-rays in 1870, 1890?
That was one of your questions, I think, last year.
I think it was too. It was the late 1800s, I thought, when we really started using X-rays. And then, obviously...
So my question for you,
before
Josh,
1930s.
You said some stuff that is right. I think you're on the right path, but I'm looking for key things now. So you have most.
Her and her husband both did research together.
Where was she born?
Oh man, Eastern Europe.
Okay.
Poland, Russia. I don't.
Poland is correct.
Poland.
Yep.
Yeah. I was Poland, Russia, something like that.
In Warsaw, that's fine if you don't get exact. Something's better than nothing. You said she did a lot of stuff in her lab. Where was her lab at?
He said in her house.
Well, she said in her house, but then he said in a school.
Yeah, I think because I think her lab was she was.
I'll even take the country. You don't even gotta get the right school.
You'll take the country, okay. Switzerland.
No. University of Paris.
Paris, really?
Yeah. She has dual residency, Poland and France.
Poland and France, okay.
Yeah, back when Poland was a kingdom of Poland.
If I can give you the year she died, I don't know the year she died. Never mind.
Sure. Throw it out there.
I'm going to say 1921.
34.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Closest without going
really?
Over.
Closest
without going over.
She lived a lot longer than I thought she was going to, honestly.
In that case, 1.
Because she discovered radium. I mean, it was like
She
she was
discovered
working for like
she discovered radium. Radium. What's the other element she discovered?
Is it another radioactive isotope?
It would be.
Okay. I'm gonna say, I'll just say uranium.
No.
Or no, wait, curium. Wasn't there?
No.
It's named after her. There's one that's named after her, I thought.
Could be, but no.
Damn it. What's the other radioactive isotope?
Polonium.
Polonium?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Looking, checking polonium. Yeah, PO.
Yeah.
Atomic number 84.
So it's right there next to radium.
So she also coined the term
radioactive.
Yep, she coined the term radioactive. And then the last little
radioactive
that I really wanted you to get something with.
Hold on. Is there like a hint for it? Maybe I can.
Yeah,
What do you want to know? Like, ask me the specific question.
Tell me something about her and the Nobel Prize.
Her and the Nobel Prize? I don't think she was allowed to get the Nobel Prize. I think it had to go to her husband, didn't it?
No.
No?
Not that I'm seeing here.
Okay. I mean, I think she probably. I mean, I know she's. Man, I'm going to say she got the Nobel Prize, but I thought there was something
more. Yeah, there's something.
Was she the first woman to win a Nobel Prize? Is that what we're looking for?
Yep, the first woman to win the Nobel Prize.
There was problems. Like she had to share. I think she had to share it with her husband, though. Like I think that was the biggest caveat. Like
the second thing is because there's a second thing to the Nobel Prize. Do you want me to tell you?
Prize money that she had to. Like, what are you talking about?
I'm not seeing that as far as that. So the second thing was she was the first person and the only woman to win 2 Nobel Prizes.
Oh, yeah. I did not know.
In 2 different scientific fields.
In 2 different so chemistry and physics.
Yep.
So both in regards to radioactive stuff.
Correct.
That's a win in my book.
Yep. I think it's a win in my book as well.
All right, everybody,
2 separate fields, and I was like,
"Oh, all right, everybody, thanks for watching SexyNerdScience. This has been a wonderful podcast. Bye."
We lost last week. That's all you give a crap about.
I don't have a perfect record.
I'm not the only loser.
And next week we're switching it up, so I got to find a science question for Dale.
Boom. All right, guys. Thank you for sticking around with us, and thank you to my lovely wife for not castrating me as soon as I go upstairs. So. Thank you.
Shit, it's 9/11.
Oh, God.
It's only 10/11 here.
Oh, good. Well,
all right. Well, you have a wonderful day.
End this,
and I'll talk to you later.
Half price shakes after 8.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in to Sexy Nerd Science Season 5.
Make sure to like us and subscribe on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter.
Don't forget to check out our merch on Teespring and support us on Project Nerd Patreon at patreon.com/projectnerd.